Hi everyone, it's Tech Dad, your French-Canadian tech reviewer. Oculus has finally released their wireless Oculus Link solution. It's called Air Link. With a good setup, it can almost replace a wired Oculus Link. I say almost because the latency is still too high for some specific games. We will see that later on. It was about time since that technology was already available with virtual desktop, thanks to Guy Godin, which is a genius in the VR world, and the team at Facebook took years to do the same thing. But now we have AirLink, and it is a native solution, and it offers more potential than VD. You don't need to run a dedicated server on your PC, and you don't need to run an app on your Quest, so it's very simple to use. You flip a switch in the Oculus software and you connect your Quest directly from the headset and you are good to go. I want to jump like Tyrell. AirLink has two big advantages over VD. For content creators like me, you can record directly gameplay with OBS on the PC using the Oculus Mirror tool. So the game changer, however, is ASW. VD doesn't have access to this technology that interpolate missing frames. So if you run at 45 instead of 90, the ASW technology will interpolate what is missing between those frames, and it's pretty smooth, and Oculus has the best technology for that. And not having this on VD is often a deal breaker for a very graphic intensive game, or sim racing or flight sims, for example. To have a good experience with AirLink, you absolutely need a good Wi-Fi setup. The PC has to be connected to the router with an Ethernet cable. I also strongly suggest that you invest in a cheap dedicated router. It will make all the difference in the world depending on your Wi-Fi usage. I will also make a video with tips and tricks to improve your AirLink experience in the near future, so think about subscribing. Now it's time to check some games to see how well AirLink performs. So for this test, I'm using the same resolution as the 72Hz recommended resolution, but I'm using 90Hz. In SteamVR, I had some problem with the auto settings, so I've decided to use the same resolution as the Oculus app. And now for the bitrate for AirLink, I'm using the default value of 100 Mbps at a dynamic rate. And if you played with the debug tool in the past, you need to put the value to 0. So my first test is with big screen. I want to test just the resolution. Is it good enough to watch some movies? Is the compression good enough? Is it clear enough from a distance? And you know what? It's really good. You can really watch with AirLink some movies, no problem at all. Now, second test is with Brass Tactics. This is a RTS game, a really good game from Oculus. I just want to test like the fluidity of the movement, slow movement, just to see everything is working right. And it's good, as you can see, everything is fluid. It's not like perfect, but it's really good, no doubt about it. And with text, it's super sharp, no screen door effect, and the compression is very good, no problem with text at all. Now for gameplay with a game like that, the units, we don't see them right now, but are pretty small. The map is big and there is a lot of details going on. For a game like this, I will use higher resolution, as now the details lacks a little bit, but with a higher resolution, I did the test after that and it was really good. Now for my third test, it is EcoVR, one of my favorite VR game. However, the community is not that great. I will say you need to love playing with kids. Anyhow, now it's just to test the fluidity of movement. Everything here is about fluidity, about moving fast, but also very smoothly. And it works perfectly fine with AirLink, like 99% of the time. Didn't have any problem with the controls, with the movement. We got destroyed in that game. The other team was really good, but really no problem at all with EcoVR. So now it's time to test with a faster game. This is Dance Collider. I'm not a Beat Saber player. If you want to know if it works well with Expert Plus mode, for example, you will need to check another YouTuber or check on Google. But for me, at like high or medium setting with a game like Dance Collider, it wasn't a problem at all. Super good. With a shooter like Pavlov, which is in Steam VR mode, here it's working perfectly well. The tracking is good, the visuals are good, the shooting is good. I played multiple matches and the experience was great the majority of the time, and it was the same with Onward. Now it's time for the toughest test with 11 Table Tennis. This is the toughest game to play wirelessly with PC VR. It's fast paced, but also it has all kind of physics. You don't have the time to react with a good player. Right now I'm playing at hard. I'm a hard player. The computer is at no mistake mode. And I'm doing my best, but it's really not perfect. It's difficult to see here because the footage is, the video is recorded at 24 Hz, but the game is at 90 Hz, but still it's not perfectly fluid like I will be playing on the Quest directly. That game needs to be played natively on the Quest 2 or Quest 1. That's the best way to do it. With the Oculus Link, you have the cable and I don't like it. And with AirLink, it's not good enough. As you can see, I can play, I can exchange. But if you add the latency of a multiplayer match on the web, then it's just too much for me for a game that looks the same when used natively on the Quest. So now for sim racing, I will make a dedicated video. This is with Project Cars 2. But just to let you know that it runs really good with ASW. I can have a fluid experience even if my PC is not the best. But here it's very important to use high resolution super sampling if you can. The details are very small and a wire is still the best way to go for sim racing. You just don't have any latency problem during a long race. AirLink is just in beta, but it's already fantastic. This is the future for VR. Wires are a pain in the butt and wireless VR is the way to go, no doubt about it. The competitors will have to find a solution to do the same thing. So thank you all. Please think about leaving a like. See you next time. It was TechDad. Ciao.